well, frankly, I really enjoyed watching Bob Ross as a child. So I was really inspired by Happy Trees.
Hi, and welcome to the Handy Women YouTube channel. I am your host, Geraldine Anello. I'm the founder of the Handy Women community on Facebook. Click the link below to join it. There's over 50,000 of us badass women. And our mission at Handy Women is to empower women with tools. And to do just that today, we're going to talk about hand painting a mural and a slide in a toys room with Jessica Summers. Hi, Jessica.
Hi,
How are you?
I'm pretty good.
I am so excited to talk about this mural. Can we please see it? Because it is gorgeous.
There we go.
Oh, that is beautiful.
So my boys asked for a tree house, and I have two lovely trees and a house to go in it. And then on this wall here, which is our only window, we have a little bit of a sunrise or sunset. I got a yellow slide that was used, and all of the materials for our tree house, our climbing portion, they actually have two little platforms here, are all upcycled from pallets, and the fence part, the guard part, is from a mattress company. They put it out with their pallets, but it came like in this perfect fence shape, and I just thought it was amazing.
I love it. So I really want to talk about these murals because I see that tree and all I see is all the details. I mean, this is artistic work. We are not just painting a wall one color. So I want to know, did you draw it yourself? Does it exist out there that there's like some sort of a template that you can paint over? Kind of like, you know, when you're a kid and you have these like drawing books by color and it's paint by color. Is there such a thing for mural?
Definitely not like that.
How even? I would not be able to draw a tree on a piece of paper, leave alone on a freaking giant wall. Like, how does one go about this?
Okay, so I had an artist friend kind of give me some advice about what it is that I should do. And well, frankly, I really enjoyed watching Bob Ross as a child. So I was really inspired by Happy Trees, and that's kind of what I was hoping to accomplish here, is some happy trees. But what I did was I took some sidewalk chalk first, and I just drew the outlines of the large trunk and the biggest of the branches. And then I taped off, I found something that I liked, and then I taped off those branches and the large trunk, and I painted them the darkest color first, and then I just layered on the progressively lighter colors. And you can see right here, I have a very dark brown, a medium-ish brown, slightly lighter than that, and then a very light yellowy color, all giving dimension and the illusion of light. And then once I was more or less happy with my branches and the direction my tree was actually growing in, then I did the same thing with my my greens and some dark blues. I painted the walls this base blue color first before I did anything, but then I came in and I did the same thing. As I found my darkest green, and I said, okay, I want it to be kind of dark. I thought about the fact that the light was coming from this side, from our window, so I tried to make it lighter next to the window versus a little bit darker over here in the middle. And then that tree on the far side is actually even darker still. But I just did the same thing. I had mostly worked with a 2-inch brush and a lot of dabbing motion.
What is a dabbing motion?
I don't still have paintbrushes up here, but really it's just kind of like a tapping motion. So I had my brush and I just tap, 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 tap.
So
Um,
did you have multiple colors out at the same time? And you would, I mean, I know you said you did it by color, but it seems really hard to do like the whole tree of one color green and then adding in different things. Did you have multiple colors so you could do one section first, or did you really do it strictly by color?
so I did a little bit of a combination of all of those things. Um, I got some paper plates that are like institutional plates where they've got different sections for your mashed potatoes and your gravy and all that. And I poured different colors into each one of those. And then I did work in that same I started with the darker green and I did kind of left to right, one tree, and then I went back over it, and then I think the key really was stepping back frequently and looking at it from a distance to see if I was happy with it or not.
So when you put the color into a plate, like how long would that last? Because I would think there's just not enough color to do a lot of work at once, right?
I didn't have too much of a problem with it because you're not going to put a lot of paint onto the wall. It's not like you're heavily loading a roller. It's just a small 2-inch brush, and you're just dabbing it on. So you don't want a lot of paint on your brush to begin with.
And you use different brushes for different colors?
Actually, in order to achieve my same like gradation, I just mostly I might have washed it out between colors, but I mostly use just one brush.
Ooh, okay. And how did
So
you
there was a little bit of color mixing when, if I'm going from a dark green to a slightly lighter green, then I might just use the same brush and mix the color a little bit.
So I know a lot of times when it comes to painting a wall, you want to try different colors to see how the light hits and throughout the day. Did you do a little bit of water, like color tasting at first to find the right greens and yellows and browns?
I sure did not. I am thrifty. And so there was um, a thrift shop in my area who bought out a bunch of the mist tints from Sherwin-Williams. So I just bought like 10 different cans of somebody else's mistake. And I just went, well, this is going to work.
So
I'm
in
going to
the
make it work.
10 different cans, were they each a different color or it was like 5 minutes?
Yeah.
You have 10 different colors on that wall.
Yeah, I think so.
Oh, I love it. That's so good. And that was the right amount you needed to do all of it.
Mm-hmm.
Did you
Yeah,
have
I picked a couple of different blues because I do have some dark blue in here. And I just like blue. And I picked several different shades of green and a couple shades of brown and I think I have a red and an orange. And I just kind of let it speak to me.
now let's
It's
look at the
my most creative project ever.
it's fantastic. Let's look at the other mural. The one
Um,
with the
the one
sunset.
behind me.
The one with
Yeah.
the sunset and the sunrise. Were these from the same 10 colors or were these different colors? And did you do it all at the same time with the tree?
I did it after I did the trees. I did it kind of as an afterthought, but I thought, well, I just want this wall to be pretty too. It is, I think the only color that's not on my trees is the red. I had some leftover grays from when I was trying to decide what I was going to paint my downstairs, and I did paint my downstairs gray. So that's where a lot of these whitish grayish colors came from, but I definitely used this light yellow, and this is a slightly different technique. I don't feel like it necessarily matches as well, but I do love the clouds. Clouds are really pretty.
What techniques did you use for this one?
This is more circly, and there was less dabbing. This is more brushing versus I do have a brush. Well, this is a big brush. So like when I was doing the clouds and when I was doing the trees, I would just like push my push my brush onto the wall, but this is a lot more just strokes of color. And it's a lot more mixed. Like down in here, you can see that these colors are much more mixed than my trees are.
How about the clouds? Were the clouds the same dabbing technique as the tree, or are it looks more like a sponge?
So the clouds are actually a little bit more of a circly kind of, let's see, circly. There we go. Technique, just to kind of get that same fluffiness that you would see a cloud.
I see. So how long did it take you to do this one from beginning to end? And how long did it take you to do the tree from beginning to end?
To do the trees, it probably took me about 3 weeks. And then to do this one, it probably took like 3 or 4 days.
So
This
when you're saying the trees took 3 weeks, how many hours per day?
Probably, well, there was a lot of drying time in between, so that I found that if it was too wet, in between colors, they merged too much. So there was a lot of hands-off time, but I probably spent 2 or 3 hours a day, 3 or 4 days a week for 3 weeks.
Oh, I love it. Let's look at that slide now. Those murals are phenomenal. Congratulations. And I know you hand painted the slide as well. Why?
So I did not paint the actual slide. The slide was yellow and I left it yellow. Let's see if I can make my lights turn back on. However, this part, this is the part that I took from palettes, and I hand painted all of that. I had never used a stain before, and this is a stain and polyurethane. I've never used polyurethane before, but that's polyurethane. And you know, I had really never done a lot of sanding or a lot of woodwork before. I definitely learned some lessons. So like I didn't pre-drill these holes and it cracked my wood. I just drilled straight into the wood.
How do you pre-drill?
You would take a drill bit, the size thereabouts of your screw, and then wherever you want your screw, you would just drill a hole through your wood first, and then you would put your screw in. It takes like twice as long, which is probably why I didn't do it, because I was cutting a few corners. But you have to drill a hole, change out your bit, and then put your screw in. And it does make for a nicer finished project, but I also just want it to be finished.
Did you build that entire structure? I don't know if I can see it again. So
I did.
How did you, it's a pretty big endeavor. It has to match the height of the slide. It has a lot of different pieces of wood. It has to match the measurements. What was the process like of building this?
So the first thing I did was you can see this is my attic room and my walls they're slanted. So what I did was I said, well, I want my tallest piece to be, so high. And then I saw, and I knew I wanted it up against this wall. So I saw, okay, if it is at 3 feet high, then over to the edge is like 54 inches. So I knew that's how big I wanted to make this this platform here. And then I just kind of went, okay, well, if I have one platform that's about that big, I'm going to make a second platform about that big. Down here underneath, I actually have an extra support beam. This required a lot of trial and error to just get my frame right in a way that it was not wiggly and wobbly, but it's really not.
So what did you learn? You said it was a lot of trial and error. What were the main lessons that you wish you had known when you were first getting started?
I wish that I had So for the second piece, I had a really hard time I built the frame with the vertical pieces and the stained blue piece, making it stand levelly, because there's a frame on the bottom and frame on the top just for stability, and I couldn't quite get the framing right. It took a lot of taking it apart, adjusting it just a little bit, and putting it back together.
Okay. And you know, it's interesting is the base, because I would have thought like a big base with like a big piece of wood maybe would make it more stable, but actually you focus more on the beams.
Oh,
What kind of beams did you get, and what made them the most solid option, the safest option?
so the beams that I have are standard 2x4s, which are not actually 2x4, but that's okay. These beams and these beams are both 2x4. And I have both deck screws. These are decking screws, which are harder to pull in and put out. And then I also have on the bottom here, I have some angle braces so that we can, and that shores it up additionally. I actually have some angle braces connecting the two different platforms as well.
Did you build it straight into the room, or did you build it outside?
Nope, I built it straight in the room.
Wow.
I did all of the painting and staining outside, but then after all of the pieces were treated, I built it here in the room.
Okay. And so you built it from the ground up, I assume?
Yes.
And then you added the platforms as you went to those levels. And did the slide come last?
Yes, it did. And I had to do a lot of research on slides. Apparently there is so slides that are about 5 feet long go up about 4 feet. But there's like a mathematical equation that I had to research on the internet to see an appropriate slope for my slide. And this slide was recycled from a children's playground, actually.
How did you find that?
Facebook Marketplace.
Wow. Was it free?
It was $50, and I got the slide, 3 swings, and a couple of other things. I got some a chain climby thing. Yeah.
That's wonderful. Well, congratulations. That toys room is epic. I'm sure, are your children loving it and playing in it all the time?
Yes, they do love it. Hence the toys all over the floor.
It looks amazing. It makes me want to be a child, so I would get to play in it again. So congratulations, Jessica. If you're watching this, write down in the comments, did you do wall murals? Did you do your own children's toys room? Did you put up a slide? Write it in the comments, and like and subscribe to see more free videos of tips and tricks from the Handy Women community. Bye, Jessica.
Bye.